capable or unwilling to answer, or both, that question. But here's just some headlines from today, just from this afternoon. This is from Breitbart. Exclusive: some Border Patrol migrant detention centers show up to 500% above COVID-19 adjusted capacity. The border czar today was at the White House and said in Spanish, the border is closed. Now, this is not the time, and it is never the time, to try to enter the U.S. irregularly. That's a weird way to put it. How about illegally, not irregularly? Makes it sound like it's some kind of a bowel disorder. And then here's another one. This is from Reuters, a left-wing news site. Exclusive: Biden stirs Mexican angst over boom time for gangs. Mexico was happy that the border was under control. Now it's no longer under control, and it's bad. It's bad news for not only the U.S. but also for Mexico. This is a complete disaster, what's going on down there. And joining us now on the line to talk about this is Jessica Vaughan from the Center for Immigration Studies. Jessica, thanks for being with us here on the Howie Carr Show.
Good to talk with you, Howie.
So what's the worst thing that's going on right now? Or give us two or three of the worst things that are happening down on the border.
The fact that the Border Patrol says that, apprehensions are up tremendously, but gotaways are also up. And that is that they think they're catching a lot of people, but they think 3 are getting through for everyone that they're catching. That's pretty bad. And we don't know who those people are who are evading the Border Patrol. The second worst thing is the families and kids that continue to arrive in huge numbers. And, I have to have a third one. I still think the lack of interior enforcement is very, very serious, and part of what is encouraging more and more people to come, especially previously deported criminals and gang members who know that they don't face a threat of enforcement anymore if they come back.
Yeah, Jessica, they keep talking about these so-called unaccompanied children. I've read, though, that the average age of the so-called children is 17. Is that correct?
That was correct at a certain point in time, earlier years in the crisis. Yes, according to Border Patrol intelligence reports that we were able to obtain, most of them are 17. There was a really suspiciously high number of the cases that I reviewed that were like 17 3/4 as their stated age, because once they hit 18, they will not be considered a minor, and they can be quickly deported. So they all, interestingly, show up right before they turn 18. And you may remember some of those cases in Lynn, Massachusetts.
I do.
Where they were, they were
putting them into middle school.
At the temple, some of them that were complaining.
Right.
So they were claiming to be minors.
Exactly. So
yeah.
but now we're told,
they're whatever age they decide to be.
We're told by the mainstream media that these 17-year-olds that maybe are older than 17 are children, but yet the Covington Catholic high school kids, they were described as racist adults when they were defamed by the mainstream media. Right?
Right. And, well, not only that, they want to pass, the Open Borders crowd wants to pass a law changing the age of majority across the United States to 21 for illegal aliens, so that they can still qualify for these special privileges for unaccompanied alien
I didn't
children.
know that. So at the same time, they want to lower, at the same time, the Democrats in the House want to lower the voting age to 16 for illegal aliens. They want to make the age of majority 21, so that when they commit all these terrible crimes, they'll be treated as juveniles and given a slap on the wrist.
Right. But only for illegal aliens. Remember, they get special treatment.
So if an American and an illegal alien, 20 years old, both of them, robbed somebody, the American would be treated as an adult and sent off to prison for a few years, and the illegal alien would probably get a suspended sentence or probation. Is that right? Where is that legislation filed?
Mostly this has to do with qualifying for what's called a special immigrant juvenile visa. It's a program that when for those UACs that bother to take the free legal help that they're offered by us taxpayers through the Department of Homeland Security, they will try to get them qualified for the special immigrant juvenile visa. And it's according to the age of majority in the state in which they're living. And so a lot of them, and they've tried to make it national, they're trying to change this to 21 to give them more time to get this green card. They tried to pass it in the Massachusetts legislature. Shauna O'Connell was instrumental in blocking it, but eventually a judge decided that they should all be 21 for the purposes of green cards. That's what that's why this is only so that illegal alien minors can get green cards have more opportunity to get green cards. It has, that's the sole purpose of changing it.
A lot of these handouts to illegal aliens are not legislatively approved. They're just issued by judges, unelected judges in all these different states.
Exactly.
Right?
That's right. The judges, just think that they have the authority to decide who goes home. And under Biden's massive amnesty bill, that is his plan for our immigration policy, he wants to make it so that any judge in the country can decide that an illegal alien, and it's going to be a criminal alien if they're before a judge, gets to stay. He wants to outsource immigration decisions to judges around the country. And we know what will happen then. It's bad enough that we have sanctuary law enforcement agencies and local ordinances and so on, but he wants the judges to be able to make that decision. That's not what Congress set up, but that's what Biden wants. It's basically so no illegal alien is left behind from the amnesty.
So the Centers for Disease Control says that Americans should, quote, avoid all travel to Guatemala and other Central American countries because of the high incidence of COVID-19. Yet if an illegal alien comes to the United States from Guatemala or one of these other countries and tests positive, he can still get on a Greyhound bus and go anywhere in the country and not have to quarantine, not have to worry about anything. And Greyhound,
that's right.
It's so bad that Greyhound has asked the Homeland Security to assure them in writing that any undocumented aliens that they put on the bus in Texas have tested negative, and Homeland Security is refusing to answer Greyhound's pleas.
Right, because the Department of Homeland Security under Biden doesn't want there to be any impediment to shipping these newly arrived illegal aliens out to the communities so that, they can get them away from the border so there's no border crisis. It's nonsense. And although maybe we shouldn't worry, because I did see one of these new illegal aliens interviewed in the news media, and she said, "Hey, we wore masks when we were with the smugglers. I feel fine. It's okay. I'm going to North Carolina." So rest assured, they're all taking precautions.
So if you're, I haven't been out of the country lately, but I'm told that if you're flying into the United States, you must have a negative COVID-19 test before you're allowed to board the flight into the United States. In other words, if you have money and you have business in the United States, but if you just swim across the Rio Grande, you will be welcomed with open arms, even if you're COVID positive, have no job prospects, don't speak English, are illiterate, and have a couple of little kids with you that also aren't going to be supported by their fathers, who they probably don't even know who the fathers are.
Right, and those kids will be allowed to have in-person instruction in the taxpayer-funded, now they're called residential centers, or welcome centers, where they will be processed, and they will probably get their shots pretty quickly so that they can be released. But, the ones who come into custody do get screening and health care and, in-person schooling and meals and clothing and legal assistance and job training and daycare and so on. But the ones the Border Patrol catches just get released to nonprofits in the towns along the border to fend for themselves. And it's up to the local towns to do any testing if they're able to. I mean, if the people even stick around long enough, this is all being dumped on communities where the illegal aliens choose to settle. The federal government is washing its hands of it and saying, just move along, go settle where you want to, and this is not a crisis.
But of course, it is a crisis. Is there anything people can do with the Democrat control as narrow as it is in Congress and as unpopular as this third world invasion is across every demographic group in the United States? Is there anything the population can do, the native population?
Well, I think the native population of voters should encourage their state attorney general to join the growing list of states that are suing the Biden administration over these policies. Since Texas won its first round in federal court over the deportation freeze, Florida is suing over the dismantlement of immigration enforcement in the interior, which we've talked about. And Montana and Arizona are filing lawsuits as well. In addition, states can refuse to become welcome centers for these new arrivals by not, agreeing to have them housed at bases or, empty schools or any of the places where they're going to be looking to put these families and kids. Refuse to offer benefits. Refuse to participate in essentially completing the smuggling mission of bringing these people here, and fight back. And encourage members of Congress to, there are going to be spending bills written in the next few months, and they need to establish a minimum baseline level of immigration enforcement that the administration can't get out of, that they weren't, they're not going to get money for the things that they want unless they spend some money on immigration enforcement, because that's what voters expect. And that's what the law requires.
Senator Cruz offered an amendment to this COVID-19 bill that was passed this afternoon, and it would have stopped illegal aliens from getting the $1,400 checks on top of all the other welfare that they get, of course. And was voted down on a straight party line vote. Every Democrat voted to give the illegal aliens each illegal alien $1,400.
Right. They care more about them than they do about taxpayers. That's clear. And they're emboldened because they do have Kamala Harris's vote, and they can ram through anything they want right now. I think another way people should fight back is, to encourage your local government or your state to publish instances of criminal aliens that are present in being released in the community. Also start adding up what this is costing state and local taxpayers, because that's where the biggest fiscal cost is. It adds up nationally to like more than $50 billion, but people need to start publishing information on how many new arrivals there are in the schools, for example.
Right.
How many are getting uncovered emergency health care, for
right.
example. How much is
going to the top of a waiting list for public housing? Yeah, just all of this stuff. Yeah.
Right.
Jessica Vaughan, you're from the Center for Immigration Studies. What's the website if people want to go to your website?
Everything we do is at CIS.org.
CIS.org. Thank you, Jessica Vaughan. Appreciate you being with us here. Have you ever wondered what makes Omaha steaks so darn good? It's the aging process. Omaha Steaks ages their steaks at least 21 days because that's the sweet spot. It's where the magic happens. You can now try these mouth-watering steaks in the Butcher's Sellers Grill Pack. It includes 4 of their iconic and fork-tender Butcher's Cut filet mignons, 4 ultra-juicy burgers. I had one for lunch today. 4 savory pork chops, desserts, a kielbasa, chicken breasts, and so much more. Go to omahasteaks.com and enter Howie into the search bar for a special price on these on this Butcher's Bestsellers package. Plus, you'll get 4 more chicken breasts and 4 more of these delicious burgers for free. Omaha Steaks has been the leader of gourmet steaks and food since 1917, 13. No one comes close to matching the flavor, tenderness, and value of Omaha Steaks. And while you're at the website, omahasteaks.com, check out the other great products they have, like the most amazing hot dogs you'll ever taste. And get into the points program, and you'll save all kinds of money just in time for the summer grilling season. Go to omahasteaks.com, type keyword Howie in the search bar, and order the Butcher's Bestseller Pack today. Don't forget, you'll get the 4 free chicken breasts and 4 burgers if you just type in Howie. That's omahasteaks.com, keyword Howie. I'm Howie Carr.
Howie Carr will return after this brief commercial break.
Joe Biden accuses Trump